This is the week that was on Monday, February 17th, 2014. I'm your host, Jeff Commings, here to count down the top 5 swimming-related headlines of the past week. We at Swimming World covered a lot of news, and it wasn't easy narrowing it down to the top 5. But here they are, starting with number 5. At number 5 was Olympian Kaitlin Leverenz's announcement that she is engaged. Leverenz talked with Swimming World's Tiffany Elias about it at the Arena Grand Prix in Orlando. And here's how her boyfriend, water polo player Colin Smith, popped the question.
So I was away for the weekend and coming home, and he was like, oh, we should go on a hike on Sunday. And I was like, sure, sounds great, not out of the ordinary. And we woke up Sunday morning, and it was super rainy, and I was talking to him on the phone, and I was like, we really don't have to go, it's not that big of a deal. And he somehow convinced me it was still a good idea to go. So I put on sweat, roll out of bed, put on sweats. When I pick him up, I put on his huge puffy ski jacket, hoods on, gloves, so I'm completely covered, just don't no makeup or anything, roll out of bed. And 15 minutes into the hike, he stops walking, and I remember being it was cold and rainy, so I was keep walking, this is so cold, we have to keep moving. And he turned and grabbed my hands and started talking, and I started crying because I knew exactly what he was going to do. And
that is so sweet.
He got down on one knee and everything.
It's always great to hear of star swimmers finding love and taking the next step to starting a new life together. Our best to Kaitlin and Colin. Our number 4 headline of the week is Eric Hanson's first public statement regarding his resignation as head coach of the University of Arizona swim teams. Speaking to his hometown paper in Sioux Falls, Iowa, Hanson said burnout was a major factor in driving him to take a leave of absence last fall and ultimately submitting his resignation. I realized that this chapter in my life had kind of played out, he said. I feel like I got a lot done and now just want a little more balance. I want to have a weekend. I don't remember the last weekend I've had, end quote. With Hanson appearing to leave a remarkable coaching career behind, it appears he's going to begin working with his brother Nick in real estate in Colorado. The life of a swim coach is never easy and does indeed take up a great portion of your life. Not every coach is able to handle that schedule well, and it's a testament to Hanson that he was able to come to that realization at this point in his life. It was fun tracking all the records broken over the weekend across the United States, and we got nearly a dozen national records reset in the past week. That's our number 3 headline on today's show. 5 of the 11 major records broken were national high school records, 4 of which were in relays. Carmel High School in Indiana broke all 3 relay records on the girls' side to help them win their 28th state title. And then there was the Baylor School in Tennessee breaking a tough boys 200 medley relay mark that had been set a little more than a year ago by the Bowl School. And the other high school record took place in Hawaii, where Jasmine Mao swam a 52.23 in the 100 fly to break the 6-year-old record of 52.44 by Kathleen Hersey in 2008. Michael Andrew wasn't going to let a week of record breaking go by without being a part of it, and he lowered his own long course meters marks in the 100 backstroke and 200 IM at the Arena Grand Prix in Orlando. And finally, 4 NCAA records were set in conference competition, starting with 2 Division II records in diving by Denison's Connor Dignan at the North Coast Conference meet. Caroline Arakelian helped Queen's University of Charlotte with an NCAA Division II record time of 1:56.40 to beat the 2-month-old record by 0.2 of a second in the 200 backstroke. She and previous record holder Anastasia Klarskaya will meet up at the NCAAs next month for a great matchup. The other NCAA record came in the women's 200 breast as Juris Agnieszka Ostrowska swam a 2:12.70 at the Great Lakes Valley Conference meet to beat the previous mark by about 0.2 of a second. This was one of the most prolific weekends we've seen recently, and we're just getting started with the championship phase of this season. Every year, the dual meets between Stanford and Cal are intense as the rivals fight to determine which Bay Area school is best, at least in a dual meet. This season, that appears to belong to Stanford after beating Cal 167-133, which puts them at number 2 on our list of the top 5 headlines of the week. Stanford won pretty much every event and posted some impressive times. Felicia Lee and Maya Dorado swam in their final dual meets, and each won 2 events over the Golden Bears to set up a potentially great conference championships in 2 weeks. Cal's Missy Franklin helped out with 3 wins in the freestyle events, including a close victory over Olympian Leah Neal, in the 100 and 200 freestyles. As exciting as this meet was, next week's dual meet between the Stanford and Cal men should be just as thrilling. And now it's time for the #1 headline of the week, and it belongs to Ryan Lochte and his return to competition 3 months after sustaining a knee injury. The entire world was excited to see him race in 6 events in the Arena Grand Prix in Orlando, but inclement weather in North Carolina kept Lochte from being able to arrive in Orlando until Friday afternoon, the second day of competition. So he was only able to swim 2 events, but most importantly, showed that his knee problems aren't that bad. He was second in the 200 backstroke behind former training partner Arkady Viachanin with a 158.12, then was 7th in the stacked 100 free final with a 51.54. Lochte goes back to North Carolina with plenty of information about his progress as he prepares for this summer, where he'll be looking to make the Pan Pacific team, as well as next year's World Championship team at the USA Swimming Nationals. Lochte told Swimming World that he's anxious to race and thinks his knee will be 100% by August. And those are the top 5 headlines of the week. We hope you enjoyed our look back at last week's top storylines and invite you to come back next week as we count down the top 5 swimming headlines that are going to have people talking. I'm Jeff Commings, and that was the week that was.